The following program contains mature subject matter. Viewer discretion is advised.
Subscribe.
I remember a few years back, after a long weekend, arriving on the adolescent psychiatric unit and being greeted by a patient at the end of the hallway, waving her hand in the air and then holding up Bob Dylan's book Tarantula, which I had lent to her before the weekend. She ran over to me saying that she finished the book and said, "I didn't understand anything, but I loved it." I then asked her if she remembered anything that she loved about the book. She said she remembered nothing specific, but he, Dylan, the author, really captures how I experience racing thoughts.
Oh, I didn't know that, but then again, there's only one I've met, and he just smoked my eyelids and punched my cigarette. Oh, mama.
Hello, this is Enrico, licensed creative arts therapist, New York State. Bob Dylan. From my early days of practicing creative arts psychotherapy, Dylan has been one artist that has informed my practice through his literary explorations.
Forget the dead you've left, they will not follow you. The vagabond who's rapping at your door is standing in the clothes that you once wore.
Here, Dylan's music and song lyrics act as a poetic doorway for my tween and teen patients to step through and experience multi-layered wordplay, providing a way for the patient to discover a multi-layered self in a safe therapeutic environment. Typically, the exploration of Bob Dylan's music and song lyrics will take place in individual or group therapy sessions, focusing on a song lyric and analysis discussion, or a projective visual art experience to music, or a projective dance movement or writing to music experience. Within these Dylan-centered therapy sessions, a few common areas of therapeutic interest are emphasized by the teen patients.
They're selling postcards of the hanging. They're painting the passports brown. The beauty parlor is filled with sailors. The circus is in town.
By providing teen patients with Dylan lyrics that help them to explore, if you will, stream of consciousness type of writing.
Einstein disguised as Robin Hood, with his memories in our trunk. Passed this way an hour ago with his friend, a jealous monk.
Here, the patients are invited to take a creative risk and create original lyrics, prose, and/or poetry that, as the patients report, captures my thoughts while they are moving to help them to discover themselves on a subconscious level. When patients explore Dylan song lyrics that tackle social issues from a Dylan-esque angle,
the South politician preaches to the poor white man. You got more than the blacks, don't complain. You're better than them, you've been born with white skin, they explain. And the Negro's name is used, it is plain, for the politician's gain, as he rises to fame, and the poor white remains on the caboose of the train. But it ain't him to blame, he's only a pawn in their game.
the patients are inspired to, as they report, sound the alarm and create song lyrics, prose, and/or poetry that explores their own uncomfortable, emotional, physical, and sexual abuse. Furthermore, when exploring this Dylan sound the alarm approach with the tween and teen patients, I will, at times, enhance the therapy session with a quote from writer and civil rights activist James Baldwin. Artists are here to disturb the peace. In these moments, thanks to some of my more insightful and perceptive patients, interesting discussions arise where they'll translate, as they report, disturbing the peace to mean disturbing the family peace, where if a family member or family friend is causing abuse and keeping it peaceful and silent, the patient can use writing, painting, or music, or whatever kind of art to sound the alarm and destroy the silence. On another note, inspired by Dylan's political songs, there are some adolescent patients that are able to look deeper at their abuse due to Dylan's unique approach as a commentator, if you will, of the entire social structure that has, according to the patients, created the mess that Dylan is writing about.
Who killed Davy Moore? Why and what's the reason for? Not me, said his manager, puffing on a big cigar. It's hard to say, it's hard to tell. I always thought that he was well. It's too bad for his wife and kids he's dead, but if he was sick he should have said it wasn't me that made him fall. You can't blame me at all.
Here, in the same way that Dylan looks at social issues, some patients are able to translate Dylan's approach, creating personalized and individualized writings that blame and denounce their entire family structure that, according to the patients, has passed down the abuse, exploring their emotional, physical, and sexual abuse on a deeper level. Okay, this is on rare occasions, and this might seem a bit silly, as it is meant to have a dramatic effect. Remember, this is creative arts therapy, where the therapist, or me, has a license to get dramatic and become the drama. Let me explain. When the teen patients start to get too rowdy and raucous in a group setting, where they will continue to walk in and out of the therapy room, which does not happen often, I think of this comical Bob Dylan moment in response to reports being made that angry fans were walking out of his concerts in protest.
Did you see one paper that said, everybody walked out?
Insane.
I'm gonna walk out.
Here, I inform the patients that I'm going to walk out of the group and shut the group down. And if I end up walking out and leaving the group, to add to the drama, I usually return and gather the patients back in the therapy room, where there is a quiet but loving welcome back by the patients. Because the walkouts are rare, and the patients acknowledge that this must be serious. And through our processing of the situation, the therapeutic relationship becomes stronger. On a closing note, I remember a patient with a horrific past traumatic history that I was working with in group and individual psychotherapy sessions, where Bob Dylan's music was explored as part of the patient's creative arts therapeutic treatment. On the patient's last day on the psychiatric unit, she was tearful as she said her goodbyes to staff and myself. While walking out of the unit, she turned to me and said, "Maybe I'll be knocking on heaven's door." Luckily, I never saw her again on the adolescent unit, and I understand she is managing the best that she can as a young adult.
I can't use it anymore. It's getting dark, too dark to see. I feel I'm knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, 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 knocking on heaven's door. Mama put my guns in the ground. I can't shoot them anymore.